So I think our outstanding sort of thing with Three Pillars was MJ and Jojo. So they went to Three Pillars on release on temporary licence from Feltham. They did a good couple of months where they went out twice a week to the community hub. They were mentored, they did a bit of boxing training, a bit of employability skills. But it also helped them because they had to leave the prison, travel on their own on the train, and they had that reassurance that there were people who cared at the other end. So once they got to Three Pillars, then at Three Pillars they were introduced to like the Sevens rugby team, which was amazing for them. And then unfortunately it stopped because of COVID, but actually Three Pillars stayed in touch, and then the boys were all released during COVID. But for us to know as well, we're in the prison still, so we can't do through the gate for everyone. We'd love to. But we knew that Three Pillars were there, even though it was COVID. They were at the end of the phone, at the end of a Teams call, which was brilliant.
I think our concern is when it comes to rehabilitating people and working in resettlement is we can do as much great work as we want and as we can, but when the door opens and they leave the prison, then that's when all the support potentially falls off. And I think with Three Pillars, like Michelle just said, during COVID, that Three Pillars kept in touch with the boys, kept in touch with us, just asking how they were, writing them letters, and coming and visiting them when they was allowed. I think with us, what gives us great hope is that initiatives like Three Pillars will come in and it won't fall off at the end. I think the speaker said it. He said, when I left prison, they was there for me. And I think that's the difference in what we see with Three Pillars.
I think that's the thing. There are really good things going on in prison. And sometimes it's also too much. We give them too much care and then release them to nothing as such. So to have Three Pillars, you can look at housing, all these different bits and pieces that I'm not saying they're finding them housing, but to support them with the skills to find their own housing is invaluable for us.
I think with MJ, we talk about MJ. We worked with MJ for probably 2 years in prison, didn't we? He came to us from Aylesbury, and we worked with him at Feltham for about 2 years. We did his Duke of Edinburgh Awards with him. He got involved in Three Pillars, but not only that, he was an ambassador for the Duke of Edinburgh Awards. He'd do talks for them. Excuse me. And we went to meet him for lunch one day after he'd been released, and he was saying, Three Pillars, I've been continuing working with Three Pillars. Got a job interview with St Giles Trust. And he got the job, and the really, really lovely thing about this is that he messaged Michelle and I saying, "I've got the job. It's brilliant," and he's still got the job.
And I think that confidence it gave him. So the course, it has got that rugby element and the fitness and the sports and the physical side. But MJ's confidence grew actually, and then on release for him to send us a picture of him just passing his driving test as well, which is amazing. All these little things.
Sent us a WhatsApp about 3 months ago saying, "I'm not being big-headed or showing off, but I'm off my licence," and it's just amazing for somebody to spend so long in prison and then to do all the courses that we can offer them, but then to keep engaged on the outside. Integrate back into the community brilliantly. He's got a job, he's mentoring young people, which is perfect because he knows, he understands where they could potentially go. So it's been I think Three Pillars for MJ was life-saving, absolutely life-saving. Same as Jojo. Jojo, he continued to work with Three Pillars. He went to university, had a bit of a hiccup, came back to prison for a few months, but then messaged us when he got out saying, I needed it. I needed to go back to realise how bad it is, and then come back out again. And he's again messaging us on WhatsApp and all sorts of things. And now, really good.
Yeah, we're really hopeful because we know that Three Pillars will be delivering internally, whereas before it's just released on temporary licence. We know it will reach more boys because more boys will have that access to it. Whereas release on temporary licence, you don't have the numbers we'd love to have.
And building the relationship whilst in custody is invaluable because when the boys leave, all they want to do is forget about everything that's gone on in prison. And if you weren't part of that, if you didn't build that relationship in there, you're probably not going to reach them or engage them. So the relationship building within the prison, and then take that outside because then it's not daunting for them. They know who you are. They can come and say, "Oh yes, it's Three Pillars."
And I think as much as we love Three Pillars, it's the people behind Three Pillars as well. That's like Mike might be non-stop bugging us sometimes, but we love him for it. Yeah. Because he believes in it, and actually we believe in it, so we like him bugging us. And what the guys involved.
And what he said in his speech about how he door knocked people, he door knocked Michelle on Twitter because we was posting loads of decent things that we was doing on Twitter through Feltham, and he thought, I can get in there. The boys are at that age where I could probably do a bit of good work in there. So he messaged Michele, and then we got him in, and he came and did parkrun with us, and we love that he doesn't stop bothering us, because he doesn't bother us because to get on our nerves. He bothers us because he cares, and that shows massively. And
if he's bothering us, it's good that we know he's bothering our boys.
I think we're very like-minded ourselves and Mike. I think in that if we get a no, we'll knock on another door, and if we get a no, we'll knock on another door, and we'll just continue knocking until we get the right answer. And that's, and we need to, because some people just go no because we can't for whatever reason, but
just don't think outside the box. And
we need people to say yes. We really do. We need resettlement in prison. We absolutely do. I think what Rosie Meekspet said about in us when she spoke earlier about the failures of the system. The system,
we see it firsthand.
The system has failed them since probably year 6, year 7 in school. They've been continued. That failure has continued through social care and all sorts of things. When they get to us, it's the last resort. And we almost think we're too late, but we're not. But sometimes it feels that way.
I think 3 pillars as well. If you think in the regime, we make them go to education, we make them go to workshops, we make them do all these things. But to have the choice to engage in something like 3 pillars, it's like they're not in prison for that time, because it's their choice to do it. They're not being made by the regime to go and do it. So, for us, it's a no-brainer.
It's a totally different relationship that they build with 3 pillars as well. They can come to us. They know we're prison staff, so they can come to us all day long, and they do. But we're still prison staff. Whereas you get 3 pillars coming in, and it's Mike, or it's Jen.
It's the branding saying
it's the branding,
they're doing good things outside.
We're going to go and play rugby today, but what we'll do first, we'll have a talk about why we're here and what we're doing and what do we expect from the future. And I think that level of sort of building their trust to trust somebody like 3 pillars is amazing.
And us sharing the case studies of MJ and Jojo to our boys then says, look what 3 pillars can do for you.